I'm going to be very curious as to those that are watching this video in the comment sections if anybody else felt that this episode was extremely tonally different than what we've experienced in pretty much the last few episodes. I mean, well, I would argue most of the series as a whole, as it really did seem like this episode kind of shift how it was telling its story to more of a comedic and more typical isekai laid-back sort of episode. Not that I want every episode to be dark and gloomy like episode 6 was, but like I said, very extremely, not just the tone, but just the story elements it's presenting almost feels very laid-back isekai, unlike pretty much the entirety of the series. But at any rate, this is my thoughts on episode 7 of The World's Finest Assassin Gets Reincarnated into Another World as an Aristocrat. So let's jump right into it. So this episode opens up with Lu now as Illig. Balor apparently had just performed some surgery on his new brother of the Balor family. He notes the fact that he needs his brother not to mention that he performed the surgery, especially to his mother. And so it seems like only his brother, his new brother, and his new father is going to know about this surgery. But obviously this is something that's very important to the father. And he kind of feels like, you know, I made this registry that you were born in to repay your father. And now it looks like I have to repay you for something else. And he's like, well, just keep the doors open so that I can return here at a later date. So he's kind of keeping things open so that later on, if he needs to use the Balor family again after he completes his mission, he can do so. But yeah, so when we find out that Balor has adopted Maha, so that Maha can be the little sister for Lu. Oh, that's great. And it was interesting because I kind of noted at this point, it is curious to note that we never really got an explanation of how Lu found Maha. We never really got an idea of, like, was he hearing about human trafficking? Did he see Maha in this village? Because obviously she was working in Miltu. So she's already been in this village. And so it is kind of cool because he's technically utilizing somebody that has a lot of knowledge of this area. And so my assumption is that he knew that Maha was working in this town and he chose her specifically because one, she may have had she has a mana capacity, but also two, that she knows this area. And so that I assume that he's seen that she was working there and that she was kidnapped, and that he followed her. But I don't know, it doesn't really give a clear picture on just how much time he's been here because it really jumps quickly to him talking about being there for 6 months, but we never got an idea of how long he was there before he went to get Maha, or if she was somebody that she found on the way to this particular town. But it obviously poses a big question mark for me when the moment you have this guy sneaking in to kidnap Lu in order to get this recipe for this moisturizer, Maha's like jumping around like a ninja and she's apparently sensing this guy being there and she's already like a trained assassin. It's like, wait, how long has Maha been with him and how much time has he devoted to training her? Why is she already skilled like Tart is? I'm starting to struggle with some suspension of disbelief, but that's fine. I don't know. Maybe it's a carryover from last episode that I'm being negative, so don't mind me. But yeah, like I said, 6 months after arriving there, this new father apparently is already claiming that, you know, I have this shop that it's a failed liquor shop, and I want you to have it. And he's like, you know, I've only been here for 6 months. And he's like, that's all right. I can see a good merchant when I see one, and I know you're going to do awesome. And so Lu kind of accepts that and starts working on his plan, which, what does he come up with? I thought it was going to be like the typical isekai thing where they make like shampoo or something like that. No, he went for moisturizer. So yeah, he apparently wants to bring moisturizing to this world because apparently nobody has it, and obviously cosmetics and stuff cause issues with skin. So he apparently goes straight for the mom because apparently the wife of this guy absolutely hates him because he's technically the son of a prostitute. In their story they're giving her, obviously they can't say, hey, look, you had another son, here he is, and she's gonna be like, no, I didn't birth him. No, their story is that, no, he went off and got some whore, as she puts it, pregnant, and this is the son. This is the bastard son from that. But anyways, he goes straight for her heart, makes a moisturizer. She tries it. She literally says, like, I still hate you, but I love this product. And she's like, I would claim you as my own son just to make sure that I continue to have this, even though you're a spawn of that whore. I did find it funny that they like immediately go to like, okay, let's produce 5,000 of these things. And I'm like, I guess this is a different time, a different world than our own, so it's not like it has to go through an FDA process or anything like that, but wouldn't you want to like wait until at least nighttime to make sure that doesn't like tear up and rash up your skin? I mean, she probably could give it a little time to set there to make sure that it doesn't start crumbling off and make her look hideous. But we're trying to speed things up, I guess. The interesting way that he kind of prevents the Balor company from basically being able to discard him at any point once it gets successful is that he actually makes sure that of course, needing some extra material to allow for the oils and the waters to mix, he uses this ingredients from soybeans, and so he decides to use those from his homeland. So he's going to go there and kind of set up this whole process of getting this certain type of ingredient to put into that and not reveal that to the Balor company. He even doesn't even want to have employees starting off because he wants to get production going. And even though, people are trying to get and bribe the factory workers in order to get this process, they're still kind of keeping their eye on the whole situation because obviously competitors want this moisturizer because, a world without moisturizer, people are going to be clamoring for that. Moisturizers is a very dangerous business. But that's when we find out that, there's people trying to kidnap Lou in order to get the information for the ingredients. So they're sending like high-skilled spies, and like I said, technically you have like Maha doing flips through the the ceilings and stuff, trying to stop people, and Tart coming in and stabbing people to put them to sleep. And they're torturing people to figure out who's sending these people to take out Lou and kidnap him. Not that I care about the whole torturing thing. It's just I didn't really care for how they portrayed Tart and Maha in this scene. It was like, ugh. It felt very, like I said, the tonal shift. I've never really experienced so much in this series a very typical harem isekai kind of thing. And this episode probably had most of those trappings, like the two girls almost competitively torturing somebody else kind of thing. And I don't know, it just rubbed me wrong. It was cool to find out that Maha apparently suggested to Lou that he would bring in the other girls that were with her to work at this shop. So we can at least see, Noi and all of them are happy working at this location. And at some point, we find out that Lou is actually visiting Dia on a monthly basis. So apparently he goes to visit her, uses his spells to fly over to her, and they talk about spells, the spells that she's actually produced, the ones that she's kind of designed. And the one that they specifically point out is this gravity reverse that will allow them to kind of levitate objects, which was kind of cool, I guess. And just get to see this little nice moment between the two of them, because we really haven't seen Dia since the very beginning of the series, and it always kind of this question mark of, so is Dia gone? Like, are we never gonna see Dia again? I mean, we've seen her in the intro. She obviously trained him magic, and then she just kind of disappears. But, I mean, come on, where's Dia? She's a third harem member. But and that concludes with him coming back home. He goes to sleep for the day, and obviously Tart and Maha decide to, sleep in the same bed with him, and then he wakes up, and he had his first young boy experience, I guess. So that happened. And obviously, immediately, Tart and Maha seem to know what he needs to take care of that. But they all want to kind of help him with his pent frustration or tension, I guess. I did like that it kind of ended the episode with this all according to plan that he's been saying the entire episode, but then he says it with a question mark, like, crap, this is what I planned, was having that first moment. Very awkward. But we also had another goddess moment. The goddess Ahem has received another. This was the 423rd of the heroes that she has isekai'd in the world. And apparently she brought him in 30 years prior. And now this guy is apparently chilling in some farms. But she brings in. It didn't really specify that he was a DJ, but she did have the whole DJ setup. She's doing DJing, getting this guy to rap, and the guy's rapping, and she's like, your rhymes cause people to end their own lives. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if it's insinuating that, he raps at them and wrecks them so much they'll go off and end their own life, or if it's just this aspect of man, he killed that guy with that rap, and that's what she's insinuating. But that didn't work out. He just goes there and starts insulting people, and he's working at a farm. So another failed attempt at a hero. I don't know. That was just kind of the most random one. I mean, we had a special ops, we had a samurai, we had, I don't remember what the other one was, but that was the weirdest one. Maybe she just, at 423, she's just trying anything at this point. But at any rate, solid episode. I enjoyed it. Really nice kind of him building up this place to work at. Obviously, he's gotten to the point now where he's going to have favor of the kingdom or whatever, so that he can get into the castle like he was originally planning to. Sadly, not really much to build up on Maha. She's just the little sister character. Again, I like the build up. This is kind of a similar situation I did with Tart, where Dia had a solid kind of bond with Lou. Tart really hasn't had that moment. Maha hasn't had that moment, and it's kind of just moving on with the story to kind of build up his fake identity that he's going to be using in the future. So, but like I said, I would be really interested to see other people's opinions on this episode, because I personally felt like just the whole tonal and storytelling was really weird in this episode compared to the rest of the series. Like, every other part of the series is this build up, it's this kind of aspect of him seeking out power and all this stuff. And this one really just kind of felt like it was really pushing, I guess, more silly stuff that doesn't really have too much weight. Not that it was a bad episode. It's just, it felt so tonally different than the rest of the series for me. It's also funny, like, not even a couple days, 4 days or so since I made my video talking about the demon in Shining Armor, which was this kind of concept around Lou being a demon that helps others, and they all see him as this shining armored knight, but in actuality underneath, he's just somebody that's using people. And literally this episode comes up and he literally says, man, I've gained the trust of these two girls. I've gained the trust of the Balor family. I have all my pawns. They're all great pawns. And it's like, dang, come on, just like layer it on right after I make my video. Definitely go check out that video if you haven't given it a shot. I had a lot of fun making that video. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like down below, comment, let me know what's about this episode. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon if you can. We definitely appreciate everybody that can. There's also a tips link in the description below. And y'all take care.